Welcome to Atlanta Tarot. This is the tarot forecast for Capricorn in the season of Scorpio. So Scorpio season begins on the 19th of October and goes right through to the 19th of November. So we're doing this because I just feel that it's better to go by the signs consecutively rather than half and half, which is normally a month is half of one sign, half of the other. Enough said. Let's see messages for you, Capricorn. Energy around your situation is all about the happy home. So that's going to be the focus and the energy for Scorpio season. Things going well, things settled, things very consolidated at the home. It also leads to the question of what's next. You've got that sorted, that's good, that's really stable. What's next, Capricorn? So we're about to find out for the next 4 weeks. So just remember too, Capricorn, Scorpio is a water element. So it deals with emotions, it deals with intuition, using your intuition over logic particularly. And it also deals with lots of things coming up emotionally. So they may just pop in the time of Scorpio and you think, what on earth, why am I sort of getting that coming through? Well, that's classic Scorpio. Dealing with things that have been long buried or hidden. It's the hidden element as well with Scorpio. Okay, this is where you are right now. And there we have, funnily enough, we have the Three of Swords. So this is the card of the broken heart or the grief card. Threes are expansion and growth. So perhaps this is a time for in the Scorpio season for just sort of getting to grips with what it is that's sort of buried there and what you need to sort of deal with this month and right at the moment, actually, right as we begin the season. So lots of things from the past coming up, memories, reminders, all that sort of thing. Anyway, Capricorn, so we'll see what in particular brought this up. Yeah, Page of Swords. So something that's still, interestingly enough, something that's still floating around. It's not really been grounded yet. It's not really been dealt with yet. And that's often with grief too. Grief can be so many things, and it's a very individual emotion, grief. So people deal with it in all different ways. But this, what I'm getting from this one, Capricorn, is this is something that you haven't kind of really grounded or grasped yet. It still floats around, and that is usual often, that people don't really want to bring it down to ground. They don't want to sort of earth it because it's too painful yet, obviously, would be one of the reasons. It's still not long. Grief is a lifetime event, really, and it comes and goes like the ocean tides and all those sorts of cyclical elements of the earth. So yeah, let's just see though, this is still very much prevalent for you guys in the time of Scorpio. So trying to sort of get your grips on it might be a good idea. Just thinking about it, just digesting it really, Capricorn. The background of this situation is divine timing. So there's a certain amount of balance in your life at the moment. Things are going quite well. So there it is. And this divine time card often it's a good sign because it sort of says, yeah, well, it is time to sort of look into it and to sort of grab hold of it. Maybe enough time has passed that you can sort of get to that point where you can grip into it and really look at it. How does it affect you? Because in Scorpio time, you will be able to deal with it a lot better than you would have in any other time of the year. So really nice card actually to help you through that process, Capricorn. Recent influences. And we have the King of Coins. So he's a person that very much goes through life, and it's all about experience with him, building experiences, knowing that, you know, you have to sort of put in over a long period of time to achieve or arrive at success. And I guess you guys realise this too. And it might be you just thinking, well, you know, I've gotten to the top of where I am. I'm doing really well. My life's good. Materialistic wise, it's excellent. I've worked hard. But yeah, then the issue still of this, it doesn't matter how well you've done or how big a house you've got or how comfortable your home is, this grief needs to be dealt with when it comes up. And it comes up periodically, not all the time. It's not always there. Sometimes it comes like a punch, an unexpected punch. So this card sort of means, yeah, well, you know, everything's actually really good for you, but you're not, you need to sort of look at that in this time with Scorpio. And so there you go. Let's just move on and see what the lesson is. It's quite an interesting read, Capricorn, actually, especially in this time of year. The lesson. And there's the Tower. So the Tower's sort of signifying to you that, yeah, look, it is time to look at it, because this particular structure you have around this grief and you have around this painful event needs to be removed. It needs to be replaced by something more positive, because it's falling down anyway, this tower. It's sort of crumbling, it's old, it's been struck by lightning, it's on fire, it's no use to anyone anymore. And it is a very structural card, but we can create our own structures, can't we, too, Capricorn? We sort of build these walls around us just to protect us. But, you know, universe is saying, okay, come on, let's start, you know, let's start getting rid of the remnants or the rubble of this tower, because it's got to come down in order for you to build a new structure for yourself. Very interesting. Near future. And in comes the Wheel of Fortune. So this is a very heavily karmic card. So it's like, if you, Capricorn, if you can sort of tackle this obstacle of grief in this season of Scorpio, I can see coming through with the Wheel of Fortune that there is a replacement for that tower that you need to get rid of, in terms of it sort of frees you up. It frees you up from that. So when the grief comes back again, yeah, you swallow it. You feel like, yeah, today's not really good. I'm not feeling like this and that, but I will, you know, I'll make an attempt, but I will look after myself. So this is a really wonderful opportunity that only comes along once in a year, I always say with this one. There's something about it. It's sort of a 12, it's a number 10, but it's like a 12-month time, or it's just once a year, an annual event and an annual opportunity coming through for you. So that's really wonderful, Capricorn. Lots of promise with that, and lots of freedom too, having sort of released a lot of the shackles of the grief. But we learn to live with it, don't we? What's happening that you're not realising? Yeah, standing on the outside looking in, and this is that card of, yeah, it's a sadness. It's almost like, I can't go in there. I want to go into this room, but I can't go in because I'm just not wanted in there. I don't feel like I'm going to fit in. It's a card of sadness, but it's only transitory, so it's not going to last long. And I doubt whether you're even noticing this, obviously, because it's in that position. So it's like, just go with the flow of those feelings too. Sometimes you don't want to talk about it. You don't feel like associating with certain people perhaps that are linked to this grief situation. So you just think, well, I'm not going because it's just not going to, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to emotionalize it with these people. So therefore I'll just stay outside. Thank you very much. So there you are. And just go through that as well, Capricorn. It won't resonate with all of you, but it may to a lot of you in different manners and ways. How others see you in Scorpio time. Queen of Swords. Very clear, but also very cut and dried is the Queen of Swords. She's matter of fact. She gets on with things. And sometimes she comes across as that sort of female whereby, you know, she seems altogether emotionally, everything seems to be fine and she's dealing with things. She's had to deal with a lot as well, excuse me. But the exterior is quite tough because of it. So this is how people are seeing you. So that they obviously also realise too, you look, she's heavily armed there. Look, she's got swords in her hair, sword in her hand, swords on her clothes. Very heavily armed woman. So it's like, be careful how close you come to me, because I've got weaponry and I'll use it if you try and ask me things or get me into conversations that I'm not willing to have or I'm not ready to talk about. Very interesting. But clarity as well. But I just look at the armour she's got, and that's where I think, yeah, she's still keeping it very much, yeah, keep your distance from me. So that's how you can be perceived or are perceived by other people about this matter. Positive feelings. Hello, but they're, you know, just going within and just sort of knowing that it's been a really difficult time for those of you who have lost someone in the recent past. That can be anything up to 5 years, 10 years, it depends. You'll find by just sort of going with that in Scorpio season that you will get clarity out of it, and you'll sort of dispel a lot of that awful feeling of hiding the grief and not being able to accept it when it hits you. And things, a lot smoother passage is on its way for you because of it during this season. So look, that's really wonderful and it's really promising. It's also positive for you to say, well, just, you know, it's just a very personal, deeply personal read, this one, Capricorn. So you don't need to share that with others if you don't want to. This is personal to you only. The outcome. And then the Hermit, so the wisdom of being able to digest your grief, being able to just sort of deal with the bits of it that you can in the time of Scorpio. By the time we get to fire sign of Sagittarius, you'll be kind of just wanting to sort of step back a bit, have a bit of time on your own, just digest things. The Hermit sort of is very wise, but he just sort of, he's an observer. But he also knows when to take a step back and just watch the world going by rather than always constantly competing within it and being in it. So the Hermit's a nice way to finish the season of Scorpio by just really looking at what you've done and realise, you know, that you've made some headway this month. And also because the Happy Home card was your energy around, you also have that. So you do have that. You do have that nice structure there, Capricorn. Well, I'm just going to pop a complimentary card on the 5 of Coins, where you're not realising, and the 6 of Swords. I don't know how this reading's going to go across, Capricorn. I'm just reading what's here and interpreting what's here, but it's very interesting and it's quite deep. But then again, as I keep saying, that's very Scorpio. So underneath the 5 of Coins, which is standing on the outside looking in, we have under the surface, yeah, the 2 of Swords. Stuck, blindfold on, swords up, defensive. can't make a decision, doesn't want to make a decision, is just stuck in the groove there. So a decision has to be made, actually. You have to kind of come to grips with that, and making a decision will just free you up, and you can rip the blindfold off and put the swords away and feel like it's almost like a burden, but it's also a decision to do so. So difficult, mind over matter, very much, a lot of swords in here too, Capricorn, which is unusual for you. Okay, so what's underneath what you're feeling positive about in Scorpio time? Where you have the Six of Swords, so a really easy passage coming out of difficult times, and underneath the surface of that you have the Seven of Swords. So once again, another swords card. So mind, once again, Capricorn, and you're not mind people, you're just energetic earth people. You like to get things done. You like to move forward. So there's jealousy. This is the card of jealousy, or sort of deception of yourself as well. Maybe sort of thinking, well, I'm not ready to talk about this to you or anyone else, and I don't like you reading Atalanta Tarot. But that's usual too, and that's quite normal, and you'll come to it in your own good time, Capricorn. It doesn't matter. It's always up to the individual. There's no pressure anywhere, but it's just that card of maybe you're not ready for it at all. So there you are. Now I'm just going to get you a message card, Capricorn. Oh, look, I think it's going to be a great month in terms of just being very introspective about your own personal stories. I really hope this reading it's a bit of a surprise for me, for you guys, but it's necessary, and this is what the cards are a tool to what the unseen spirit world wants us to know. So my job is the interpreter. So I'm just hoping that it resonates positively with you, Capricorn. I always try to put the positive spin on everything, because we all know that the flip side is negative. So positive for me is always best. Okay, the message for this season, I have to keep remembering to say season, is equanimity. I find hope in the darkest days and focus in the brightest. I do not judge the universe. The Dalai Lama said that. Equanimity embodies forging ahead with an unshakable courage to experience all circumstances that come your way, and without judging them as good, bad, right, wrong, gain or loss, so that you will not be disturbed by your own negative emotions. Nothing can spin you out of your calm centre. There, that goes well. I believe that goes really well with the reading, Capricorn. I wish you a really happy Scorpio time. Go within and, yeah, unblock the blockages if you can. And if you can't, you can do it again next time. Thank you.